We're a mere 5 weeks away from the most stupendous WrestleMania in history, featuring the biggest match of all time for like the 10th year in a row. Seriously, WWE, you can't keep saying it's the biggest match of all time, even though Vince McMahon is bound and determined, you're going to love Roman and Brock. You're going to love it. I'll make you love it. I will make you love it. I will make you take it. Ha ha ha. I'm a genius, damn it. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Smackdown from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and oh boy, this is the kind of product we're getting on the Chode to WrestleMania. We are certainly in for a long fucking slog. But seriously, I'm getting a little bit worried, guys. I'm actually terrified they're going to end the brand split. And I'm not saying the brand split has been perfect. SmackDown has kind of been in the dumps. Raw has had some good parts, but also it's 3 fucking hours. If they decide just humans have to beat the rosters together and just put the same people on both shows because that's what the networks want, this is going to get really difficult. Remember what SmackDown was like after they ended the first brand split and how it was? You know, it was just basically, it wasn't the Super Show, it was the C Show. It was the D Show sometimes. We were getting the D, the roster was getting the D, they were constantly getting the shaft, and a bunch of people were just sitting on the goddamn sidelines. And even with all the people they released, there was one person they brought back on this show that I totally forgot was even still employed. I'm really worried they're going to do this unification thing and just go way too goddamn far. I don't have a problem with them having Bork and Reigns, unify their titles, because honestly, I think there should only be one main roster world champion for the men, and it really should be the case for the women, in all honesty, and maybe just have a mid-card championship and get rid of stuff. They could do a few things. Maybe I'll do a separate video about that at some point, but I'm really worried that after WrestleMania, if they decide to end the brand split, oh boy, it's going to be really terrifying. But before that, we got to keep traveling and trudging and almost getting in the potholes, and falling into like ravine-sized potholes on this Chode to WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania, whatever. God damn, this show wasn't very good. I'm really just trying to come up with something to describe how this show was pretty agonizingly boring. It opened with a promo segment, it closed with a promo segment, and only the last promo segment was any good. And even that was kind of meh. And I'm also not really excited for WrestleMania. I'm not excited for the SmackDown side, the Raw side, because there's potential for a couple matches to steal the show, but it's going to be petty theft. Because if we look at the 2 cards for the most stupendous 2-night WrestleMania in history, goddamn, they are really going to make it hard for us to love this WrestleMania with a bunch of the bullshit they're putting on it. So, Bork and Reigns package, fill time. I mean, catch us up to speed. Clearly to catch us up to speed. Because everybody watches these shows. That's, evident as far as the ratings go. So, Pat welcomes us and tells us about the biggest match of all time at Mania 92. Roman versus Bork. They're going to have a contract signed and then cut to... calls Michael Cole the greatest commentator of all time. I think Aaron Rodgers' brain parasites have infested Pat's ears and are nesting, because Michael Cole ain't even in the top 10. He ain't even in the top 10 of the last 15 years. He's fucking terrible. Oh, he has Vince yelling in his ear and this kind of stuff or whatever. Okay, granted. You know what? There are people that can do a whole lot better than that. And JR could, because he's fucking JR. Michael Cole ain't even as good as JR on JR's worst fucking day. JR could be asleep and could do better commentary than Michael Cole. But anyway, Michael Cole's there to introduce us to Ronda Rousey, not Roundy Rousey. And, well, I'll tell you this much. I don't know how Rousey got to the goddamn venue, because she hasn't paid trans for years. She refuses to pay for trans. She also refuses to acknowledge any hooks that happen or whatever, left, right, or Sandy. And no, I'm not going to forget that, because guess what? When somebody's a fucking idiot, regardless of how good their talent is, I'm going to make fun of them because it's funny. You don't like it? Oh well, it's my channel. I'm having fun. Not attacking you directly, am I? Unless you think like Ronda Rousey, then you're a fucking idiot. So anyway, I have seen and heard corpses that have more life and energy to them than Ronda Rousey. My fucking goodness, she'd sound like she wanted to be literally anywhere else. So she, after, Mania 35, she broke her hand, and then she broke her other hand. Luckily for her, abusive husband, by the way, Travis Brown, look it up, kids. She was ambidextrous. Also, then she got pregnant. Well, good for you. Hey, maybe if hopefully your kid's not involved in something, Rhonda, because would you deny that happened too? So anyway, Charlotte shows up, does her usual shtick. I don't know why she had chess or checkerboard stuff on her. And then Sonya clips her, and the knee was hooked around, and Ronda immediately denied that her knee was hooked around anything because it was hooked. Because I'm going to keep saying that because, well, you deny that kind of shit that really happened, you're a fucking idiot, and you deserve to be needled repeatedly until you're shamed into fucking hiding. So, yeah, they beat her up. And then Pierce is upset at Sonya and says, hey, you're going to face Ronda next week, and that's official. This ate up about the first 20 minutes of the show. So, Big E was riding a quad to the ring. Not a Quad City DJ, come on and ride this train. Boy, I couldn't sound more white if I tried. So, the Kiss Cam. Los Lotharios are tag teaming another woman. I have seen this movie before. So, New Day versus Los Lotharios. Easy for me to say. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. And as the minorities go and they commit violence on each other, the Fox execs, they were smiling ear to ear. Boy, that was a really goddamn hard reference to pull off with that song. So 2 Hispanics beating up 2 African-American men in Hershey, Pennsylvania. News at 10. And Fox will call fake news on anybody crying foul. So we get a quad distraction because Big E was about to commit vehicular assault for The Rock, for the people. And then Midnight Hour 1, 2, 3. The match wasn't bad. I'm not saying that they don't put on good matches. I just don't care. I just don't. I'm sorry. So, Walt Disney's least favorite podcaster, not named Pete Rosenberg, a.k.a. Sam Roberts, a.k.a. that piece of shit, who's like, talking about how great of an artist Kid Rock is. Sam, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, I'm not surprised, because he looks like somebody that really has not been able to pull his head out of his ass for the last 20 years. And maybe he finally did, and that's why his hair popped off naturally. So, Nakamura and Boogs were in a Toyota ad. And then the Usos got attacked by the Viking Raiders. This is all stuff that was allowed to be on a cable or a network television broadcast, by the way. So, Xia Li is talking about her debut match on Smackdown. Remember all the vignettes that they showed, and then she finally showed up, I think, sometime in December? And then she would just show up, be off, show up, be off, and finally she's having her debut match. 8 to 10 weeks after she debuted. Or, had her debut, as far as helping attacking Natty and helping people and whatever. She was going to help Toni Storm, and that didn't work out all that well, and what did she help Toni Storm? I don't even remember. I like Xia Li. She was facing off against Natty. But first, we have to talk about the lightning shit. Whoever came up with these lightning graphics and these ideas or whatever deserves the Full Metal Jacket bed treatment. If you know, you know. So, Shayna, Gulak, Aaliyah, and Mansoor were watching TV like normal humans, and Xia Li beat Natty. And the match wasn't bad, but she hit the kick, but then fell down. And nobody cared. People were chanting Hershey chocolate. I'm not even saying it's the women's fault. I like Natty. I like Xia. They haven't given anybody any reason to care about these women. So, yeah, was the crowd full of jerks? Sure. What the fuck else? They've already sat through a bunch of bad bull. Yeah, they got to see the New Day wrestle, but they sat through some stuff. They sat through a bad Ronda Rousey promo, and then they got this, and people probably forgot that they were even fucking feuding because they haven't built up any of this stuff. I forgot that Xia Li was even a wrestler. And I like Xia. Anyway, Sammy stole Terry Taylor's tailor-made man jacket and goldenized it. Not GoldenEye. We are not getting Famke Janssen squeezing people to death with her legs. More in the pity. I would go that way 100%. I see title celebration. Zayn says, hey, I am going to I'm not going to challenge Nakamura because he's never here. He's off doing a Toyota commercial. So I'm going, but he's also picking up the pieces. Pick up the pieces as far as his knees. So I'll challenge anybody. Here's Johnny Knoxville. I'm going to tell you right now, whoever came up with this idea deserves to actually be thrown in an active volcano while their family watches, because this is embarrassing. Yes, I know that WWE has involved celebrities for years and years and years. The first WrestleMania was built off of celebrity involvement, and there have been some great celebrity appearances. Bad Bunny, prove me wrong. Johnny Knoxville, this aging has-been twat that may be doing great shit outside the ring, fine. He may be doing great shit with his fame. I didn't mind him in We Summon the Darkness. He does not belong on a professional wrestling show. Oh, but it's sports entertainment. Fine, he doesn't belong in the sports entertainment thing because you have to be entertaining. And he's not. If he is for some people, fine. If he wins the IC title at Mania, if they actually go that route, just throw the IC title in the goddamn bin, take Vince McMahon and co. and throw them in a goddamn active volcano, and just burn the company to the ground and start over. Because there ain't going to be nothing left. The IC title is dead if Knoxville wins it. If that's the case, they should have just left the IC title retired back in 2002. So anyway, we're backstage and Ricochet says he wants to challenge Sammy. And Pierce says that's a good idea. Of course, at first, Sammy told him to go to the back of the line. Gee, why would you tell a tan guy or a brown guy to just go to the back of the bus line? That's what I mean. It's almost like Fox was getting a brainworm into Sammy's ear and talking to him. So Pierce says that's a good idea. So maybe we're going to get Ricochet versus Zayn next week for the title. Well, we're getting that, but maybe Knoxville will cost Sammy the title, and then we're still going to get Knoxville versus Zayn at Mania, and it's still going to be terrible, and I'm already going to write it down as one of the worst matches of the year because it's embarrassing. Same with the fucking guy that filmed the goddamn dead body in the Japanese forest, and stage or not, don't care, is fucking stupid. He deserves every bit of ridicule until maybe he goes away into another forest and is never seen again. So anyway, yeah, Knoxville. Knoxville can't take a beating properly because he's a fucking broken down, almost handicapped, stupid fuck that doesn't belong in a sport that I love, that many fans like myself that have been watching for years. Yeah, I'll gatekeep here. He is not worthy of being on the WrestleMania card. Celebrity or not, don't fucking care. So, Shotzi exists. I know, I was shocked too. I know she's had some time off because she lost her dad, and I feel really, really bad for her. But even before that, like weeks before that, she was not on TV at all. After that heel turn and that match with Sasha, they forgot about her. I feel bad, and I hope that Shotzi is in, the best frame of mind possible. I feel so bad that she lost her dad. But she lost to Sasha really quickly. I'm worried that they're going to future endeavor Shotzi because they've been future endeavoring so many people except Mustafa Ali. But anyway, I mean, I hope Shotzi's okay. This match is really quick, though. Sasha beat her. Naomi then says, you're looking at the next women's tag team champions. We immediately cut back to Megan, not Markle, and says, I'm not sure what Naomi meant by the next women's tag team champions. I'm not knocking Megan as a person. I'm thinking they fed her the wrong line. Pretty cut and dry to me. Stop scripting your people so goddamn much, Vince, you fucking weirdo. So, apparently Pat McAfee has got Vince on his show, on his podcast. Well, he can't be any worse than Aaron Rodgers. He'll be more coherent, because anybody is more coherent than Aaron Rodgers at this point, who I hope goes into fucking retirement and ends up giving into CTE, and is a drooling vegetable for being a goddamn idiot and a science-denying twat. Never deserved all the money he got from the NFL. It's not think like I do or you're wrong. It's be a proper human being and think properly or get the fuck out. So, Corbin says he's stepping in for Moss, but Moss has the strongest neck on the WWE roster. Chris Benoit also had that, and we saw how well that turned out. I'm glad that Madcap Mouse is okay. So, by the way, this match is sponsored by Snickers. We said Snickers. Hulk put the spray paint away. God damn it. Hulk's at it again. Grandpa Hulk. Drew took on Corbin, but no, Moss was substituted. And the match went longer than it needed to, and we then get a Claymore. 1, 2, 3. I hope Moss is all right. Could you have not given him a little bit of time off? I understand they're probably trying to fast track Corbin and Moss splitting up. But is anybody going to really cheer for Moss outside of being happy he's all right? So, Ronda then says she'll beat down Sonya because she's tired of her. Of course, she wants to beat down somebody that is of the LGBTQ community because she doesn't want to pay the tea when she travels. So, Roman entrance and break. Next week, Usos and Raiders, and Ricochet and Sammy, both for the titles. Yay! He fresher goddamn talent up here. Nothing against Ricochet. Does anybody think that Ricochet, even if he wins the Intercontinental Championship, is going to matter? They've already effectively thrown him into the fucking dirt. I'm not saying they buried him. They just thrown him in the fucking dirt and they're not allowing him to get out. So, Heyman comes out and basically says, all the tribal chief did all that and everything. I'm not going to go over all that, but he says, let's hear it for the unification. But that's called a cliffhanger. And then Sylvester Stallone drops that woman again. So, here's Bork. He's having fun. He says these skid mark security guards won't stop him, but he will kick Roman's ass and Heyman's ass at Mania. It will be a unification match. And Heyman insists you are not going to make it as WWE champion. You're going to lose on March 5th in Madison Square Garden. If they don't decide to advertise that on the cock, then what the hell's the point? Because they might as well do that because, one, they're probably trying to drive ticket sales, but announces suddenly that it's going to be on the cock, and maybe you'll get more eyeballs there, and actually it'll be like, hey, anything could happen at a house show. Maybe we should go to house shows. So then Roman was fired up and saying they all work for me and everything. I don't know what the hell he was on about. He was just being all gloaty and shit. And then the security guards got hammered. One guy got a chair literally thrown at his head. Bork tipped the desk over and threw the desk at everybody and hit an F5 on one of them, and that's it. That was 2 hours of network television to sit through to maybe get a couple good things. That was one of the worst Smackdowns I've seen in a while. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.